They brought us our refreshments, and they have business cards back there, and we really appreciate you providing refreshments this morning. My name is Andrea Smith, and I'm the Acting Chief of Administrative Services, and I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank you for attending the forum today. And let me just take a moment to recognize our County Executive, Thomas P. Gordon.
Good morning.
Our County Council President, Reverend Chris Bullock. Today's forum was inspired by our County Council President, Reverend Chris Bullock, who expressed interest in increasing minority participation in the procurement process. And it is fully supported by our County Executive, Thomas P. Gordon. Our goal is to provide you with information and tools to help you do business in New Castle County. And at this time, I'd like to introduce our first speaker, County Executive Thomas P. Gordon.
Actually, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. My good friend here, the Reverend, came into the government a couple months ago, and you would never let that happen before when County Council wants to come over. He took over a whole division and said we're going to get started on this. So I'm here to say I support anything Reverend does, and this is something that's much needed for the county government to open up the doors of county government to a population that usually hasn't been considered. So, Reverend, I don't want to steal your thunder. I want to have you come up right now.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just say hello to everyone at your table if you haven't. Say hello and share your name. Just share your name who you are.
Lenny Broken Brown. Good
Now let's give our county executive a big hand. Let's give our team a big hand as well. I am delighted to invite you to this important forum where we can discuss and move forward on the issue of openness and equity and how to engage county government in the vending and procurement process. It's important that all of our residents in the county be given an opportunity to do business with the county. I believe that entrepreneurship is a way out of poverty and a way up to prosperity. A way out of poverty and a way up to prosperity. Heretofore, during the last several years, we've all been hit by the economy. It looks like there will be uptick, hopefully. Nevertheless, it's important that here in Delaware and New Castle County, that we do all we can as a government and the leadership of Thomas Gordon and this outstanding team that we invite you to the table. I've heard over the years from many of you and others, we can't get the contracts ready, we can't get in the door, we can't get at the table. After today, we're going to dismiss and dismantle those issues and excuses and give you an opportunity to raise questions and issues. We want to remove barriers and build bridges so that you may prosper. As you prosper, the tax base is less, and the tax base increases, and we all benefit. But the goal of today is for you to understand what the process is, how to engage the process, and move forward with the process. Please feel free to ask all the questions that are on your mind. No question is unacceptable. We have a packet for you with information. The room is filling up. It's a good sign. And I want you to know that I will be supportive of your endeavors. Take this process seriously. We will do it again. I'd like to make this an annual event. Hopefully down the road and move to a county-wide conference. other states and counties are doing this kind of thing. We're the first state. We ought to lead the country in, I know it in business development and expansion and engagement with government. Secondly, I want to encourage you to know who your local district council person is in the county. Know who your local, how many of you know who your council person is? County council person. 3 hands went up. How many of y'all know me? Well, you know, I'm the councilman for the whole county. But I'm at large, so I saved y'all. So come on, so you know your councilman now. Right? Yeah. All right. Get to know your local council person. Engage them, talk to them, find out what's going on in your community, economically, where the jobs are, what's going on. Thirdly, always know that we're here to serve you. You look in the paper this morning, county exec and I are taking the lead on ethics reform in county government. We want to open up the process, clean up the process, and move forward to make our government transparent and more effective and efficient for the citizens of Newcastle County. Again, welcome. So good to see some of the members of my church here. And we have in our church the Canaan Business Network, some 50 business owners in our church. We developed this network 3 years ago, Lenny. We brought all the business owners in Canaan together. So we're serious about business and economic development and expansion in our community. So again, welcome. Give all the credit to the team. They'll be talking. I want to recognize my aide, Anthony. Please stand, give him a big hand. Amen. Thank you and enjoy the day. God bless.
So, other times, the first question that's ever asked is, what does the county do? Are we in charge of hospitals? No. Schools? No. Prisons? No. But we get those calls quite a bit. Are we responsible for those areas? So I thought it would be good to first go through that, of just a little brief overview of what the county actually, what services they provide to the citizens. So I'm going to just highlight the top 4, the largest departments, and we'll begin with land use. And land use manages the planning and zoning review. They do the licensing for building, plumbing, and mechanical codes. They issue building permits. They do the inspections for the buildings in the county. And they do code enforcement. If a citizen calls in with a complaint about their neighbor's property, they go out and investigate and handle those complaints. As well as they manage the customer service center, which is a call center it's a central call center that you can call in. If you're not sure who to contact in the county, you can make a call into there and they'll direct you. Special services, a very large department. They maintain our sewers, and they take care of all the parkland in the county. They are responsible for all the construction and renovation to county property. They also manage the fleet and pump stations and treatment plants. Quite a big job. Not always the most popular, I'm sure. Public safety, probably one of the most visible departments. They provide the county police services, paramedics, the emergency communication center, which is 911, the school crossing guard services, emergency preparedness, and victims assistance. And last but not least, we have community services, where they are responsible for the libraries, development and housing, sports and recreation, senior services, and they oversee all the county's special events. All these departments are supported by smaller offices such as law, finance, human resources, and our Office of Administrative Services. I just want to kind of briefly go over today what the types of purchasing of goods and services and construction, and who manages each of those. The Office of Administrative Services is responsible for the purchasing of goods and services. Construction is managed by the Department of Special Services, and they will be discussing that just a little bit later in the new forum. So, how do you know about a formal bid? Well, the county code governs when a bid has to be done formally. It is required by code to formally bid all goods and services that exceed $25,000 and greater. And professional services such as architect, engineering, and specialties is at $50,000 and greater. So how would you find out about one of those bids? Well, all the bids are required by code to be advertised in the News Journal for 2 consecutive weeks, one time each of those weeks. We also place all the bids on the county's website. If you fill out a vendor application, which we'll go through in a little bit, we're going to go through everything in your packet with you, you will automatically be notified if that's some service or good that you can provide. You'll get an electronic notification through email that the bid is now available. Each bid will provide a description of the goods and services required and list all requirements. For example, you would need to have a Delaware Business license if you're awarded the bid. There's a list of insurance requirements that you would have to fulfill. And if there's a performance bond required, that information would be in the bid. I will say that we don't require too much in bonding on our side. That's more on the construction side. The bid will include the specific date and time when it's due in the office. The bids are publicly open. Everyone is invited to attend a bid opening. And after the evaluation by the purchasing agents, the bids are awarded to the lowest responsible bidder. Now that's for goods and services. When you talk about professional services, that's a little bit different. They follow the same advertising and notification that a regular goods and service bid does. But they are evaluated on a criteria where price is not the determining factor. In a lot of professional services, such as engineering, architecture, there's no price put in the bid. It's just basically awarded to the highest evaluated by the team. And there's an evaluation criteria. It's different in every professional service bid. And it'll tell you what it's being evaluated on and what the points assigned to it are. And then, after that is brought in, there's a team that evaluates it, and it is awarded to the overall highest score. Now, I would like to go through your bid packet that we handed out to you today. And please feel free, if you have any questions as we're going along, just raise your hand, and I'll be happy to try to address them. But this is like a how to get started packet. And on the right side of the packet is everything from administrative services. We have put together what's called a little vendor guide to purchasing. And it's frequently asked questions. How can your company do business with Newcastle County? And it gives you a little talk about that, as well as where you can find the current bids. Again, they're available on our website, and they are advertised in the paper, and they are sent directly to vendors that are registered. And how do you submit a bid? Can you attend the bid opening? Again, all bids are publicly open in the Government Center on Reed's Way. Each bid will have the time and date that is open. And as soon as that, for example, if the bids are due at 2 o'clock on a Wednesday, at 2:01, 2:02, we go into a room and the bids are open then. So you would know that they're being done right after the time and date in the bid. We also publish the formal bid thresholds. So I know we went over them a little bit today, but at least you would have a little guide to go back to and say, oh, materials and non-professional services are bid at $25,000 and greater. Now we do a lot of work that's not bid. We have a lot of work that's not $25,000. So if it's a bid we feel that it's going to be $15,000 to $25,000, we do what's called an informal bid, where we go out for 3 quotes. We've instituted just recently that we will try to, if applicable, that we can find a minority business. We will make sure that they are one of 3 vendors that are sent the opportunity to bid on those jobs that are less than $25,000. And the same for professional services. If it's greater than 25 but less than 50, we send out for informal quotes again. And we're targeting the same approach, that we want to make sure that a minority business gets an opportunity in those lower jobs. And that gives you an opportunity to see how the county works and get your foot in the door and get a working relationship with us. The next thing in your packet is your vendor registration. Vendor registration lists all the types of commodities that we typically do. If you don't see something on the list that you provide, for example, if you should provide, say you could do a class on beading, and of course we don't bid something like that, but we do classes out community services. We would like you to write that on there, and we'll pass that information on to that department so they can make contact with you. But these are all the commodities that we actually bid. And if you go through here, fill out your application. But one of the things that's mainly important is that you must be registered through the State Office of Diversity in order to be considered a minority in our department. So you would need to go out and fill out the application. We've actually supplied the link and the actual application for certification from the State of Delaware in our packet. You can always register as a vendor, but to be considered as a minority, we do require that you get your certification through the Office of Supplier Diversity with the state.
Excuse me, I have a question. You were talking about the informal bids.
Yes.
Is there a list or something that you actually have that you go by, and the people that you would contact, and do we have to be certified prior to being on the list? I mean, I have a lot of questions about this informal part.
Yes. Actually, what happens when you fill out your vendor application, you get your certification through the State Office of Supplier Diversity, and we have your certificate number that the state assigns. There's actually a database that we can pull from. So what we would do, say for example, you sell, I think something that would be, we'll just use the widget comment. If you were selling widgets to Newcastle County and we wanted to solicit an informal bid, we would go out to that commodity and pull up the list of the vendors under that commodity. We can specifically target what group is listed as a minority and select one vendor from there. If there's none listed for Newcastle County, we also have the opportunity to go to the state website for the Office of Diversity, and they have a listing there as well that we can pull from.
But you're saying you only select 3?
A minimum of 3. Correct.
Oh, minimum of 3, so there might be more.
It would always be 3 for the informal. So if we decided we needed to solicit 5 vendors, we would target to try to get 2 minorities in the 5.
So in the past, have you always had at least 3 vendors to select from? And if you haven't, what do you do at that point?
We are not required by law to actually bid anything under $25,000. This is really a policy inside of our office that we do. So if, for example, we couldn't find another vendor, we would probably just go to the one that we could get a price from. But that doesn't mean we're not going to try to do the process to find more, because you want competition. You want the competitiveness. You don't want to just have one vendor that you know that can supply it. You want to make sure you're getting the best price and the best service.
So in the past, your experience, have you always been able to find at least 3 vendors?
And most of the informals, yes. But I will say that we really are putting this back into practice. It has not always been in practice recently, but we have put that back into practice within the 3 vendors.
Is there a random selection in selecting the 3, or do you just pull out of a hat, or how do you come up with which 3 that you chose? Say you have a big pool. Do you just randomly get the 3 each time, or the same people use a different variety, or what?
Rotation. to pull out of the pool, not always go to the same one. In some cases, a department will have someone that they have in mind that could provide the service. We may send it to them and then pull for 2 or 3 others out of the vendor pool.
And also in line with that, is that a low bid process? Is that how you choose them?
For goods and services, yes. It would be lowest, most responsible. And it takes in more factors than just the price. We look to make sure that, you have the ability to provide the service or the good. Have we had any issues with the vendor in the past? We look at all that before we actually make the award. Yes.
What is the approximate budget for the under threshold? So is it about, like the state is somewhere over $30 million, what's the count?
I don't know what the threshold is for under the threshold. I can look and try to get to that information, but we look at the spend as a whole typically, not as, what has been under 25.
No. Well, I'm looking for the total amount spent for those types of goods and services that are under the 25, or the 25,000 or 50,000.
Under that.
Or that, even that range.
Right. I don't have those numbers with me today, but I certainly, if you can give me your business card, I'll get you that information.
Thank you.
Any other questions about the informal? Okay. Well, continuing through your packet, we gave you a little snapshot of what the county website looks like for purchasing. This would be the front page of that website. And you can see on the left-hand side, it talks about vendor registration. So if you misplaced your vendor application today, you could go out there and download and print it again and send it into the county. Underneath of it is bids and RFPs. And if you turn the page, you'll see, if you click on bids and RFPs, it gives you a listing of what the actual bids are available. And these would be formal bids. Anything over $25,000 and over $50,000. This is what you would find on the website. It would also it would let you download the bid. It would tell you if there's been any addendums issued on that bid, and you can download them as well. And it tells you what the closing date for the bid will be. So all that's available online. All bids for professional services and goods and non-professional services are free of charge. There is no charge to get a copy of those bids. There's no charge to register as a vendor. All that is free. Next is a list of important links. Again, the link to Newcastle County's website for purchasing, and a link to the Office of Supplier Diversity, and a link to the Delaware Revenue Division. And the reason we have the link to the Delaware Revenue Division is that's where you apply for a Delaware Business license. We've also included in there an application for the Delaware Business license as well. In the back of the packet are 2 samples of bids. One is a professional service bid. It says it's construction inspection services. Now I wanted to include a copy of each type of bid. One is for goods and for janitorial paper products. These are just samples. It will give you an idea of what a county bid would look like, what some of the requirements are for a bid, what the evaluation criteria is. So I provided those samples for you, what the insurance requirements are. Are they required to have a bond? In the construction inspection, it lists the evaluation criteria, and that's what I spoke about earlier, when bids are awarded, not just simply on price, but on evaluation criteria. one that would be awarded based on the lowest, most responsible bid. It just gives you an idea of what we would be looking for in that type of bid. We've also included in your packet a list of annual contracts. Annual contracts are done once a year. We review them annually. They are items that we know that we are going to exceed $25,000 to break. They have a listing in there, tells you what the bid type is, who it currently is awarded to, that's correct. Who the bid's currently awarded to, and just the types of things that we annually look at. If the bid is listed today, you are in the perfect time for that. Annual bids are starting to be reviewed actually right now, and they go in place from July 1 through June 30th. There are some bids that you might see a C, and that means that it's just a calendar bid, and they run more from January to December. And we've provided in your packet a list of bids that will actually be required to be bid this year. And they include some things like light bars, batteries, the elevator service, plumbing supplies, safety supplies, and this is what that list is. And these will actually be required to be bid. On the annual contracts, when we award those, they have what's called an extension period in them. We review those annually with the department, and if all the services that are being provided they're satisfied with them and the vendor can hold his price, then we sometimes offer what's called an extension. Those bids can only be extended for a period of 3 years, and then they have to be rebid. Not saying that they will automatically be renewed for 3 years, but there is the opportunity for them to have an extension for that period. Yes?
There are a number of items on this annual bid form, and there's a column that says bid expires.
Yes.
And some of them are 5 years from the award date. Are we supposed to read that as Tri-County, for instance, has the award, which was awarded in 2012 and expires in June 2017?
They have the ability to be extended that period of time. But
Okay,
annually
that
they are...
doesn't say that. I mean, the way it's written here, it almost, I would think, oh, I forget it, I can't bid on this until 2017.
It's really, that date is really an internal listing for us, but every year those bids are annually reviewed with the department that uses the service and the purchasing office. We ask if they're satisfied with the service, and sometimes we also go back to the vendor and say, can you hold your price? Are you interested in extending the bid? It doesn't fully mean that they will have the bid until 17. It's just, we know in 2017 it can no longer be extended. It has to be renewed. It's just the extension period that's allowable, that column. That's why we did provide you a list with items that are going to have to be bid this year, in 2014. We run on a fiscal year, so it'll be July 1st, 2013 actually starts in 2014 year. Any questions?
Yes, but most likely with the bid expiration date, most of the people are going to stay with that contract until it expires, am I right? Or do you annually review them even though they've already gotten the contract?
We annually review them. We don't annually bid them. We annually renew them with the department as well as the vendor.
And then how do we know if something opens up? So let's say this 2017, you review it in 2015.
Well, number one, if you filled out your vendor application and that opportunity comes up, you would automatically get notification.
I don't get it.
question?
Yes.
I don't see professional services listed. I see publications and I see radio that stays, but is there, I mean, what would the category of, there's a lot of, I think, other than creative professional services, there's a lot of professional services that are offered. How would they be purchased by the county?
Right. We don't actually have an annual listing of professional services. We typically, I'm sorry, we don't actually have a annual listing of professional services. Most of those are done as they come available. There are a few that we do as annuals. Like, for example, we've done just one recently for an architect to do some minimal work in the county facilities, and it was multi-awarded to more than one firm.
So how would a vendor align themselves or procure those opportunities from the county?
If it is formally bid, then you would automatically get notification if you filled out your vendor application and you selected that commodity. For example, if you could do architect work, if we were going out for a bid for architecture, then you would automatically get notification that the bid is available. Also, the bids are always on the website and advertised in the News Journal currently. Does that answer your question?
To that point, if you offer marketing services or, let's say, insurance or brokerage services, how would you be otherwise involved? Because the document doesn't talk.
I'm sorry, what was the last part?
The document doesn't talk to that. So if you do marketing services, say you have a marketing company, or you have an insurance brokerage company that does annuities, health care, life insurance, how would that person play with the county?
Well, if the opportunity becomes available, if we needed market services, for example, we have gone out in several incidents a couple years ago for land use needed some marketing, and we actually submitted out a bid formally. And if you were listed, if you check the check mark that you provide marketing services on your vendor application, you would get the opportunity to get a copy of that bid and to submit a bid.
Where would travel and excuse me, travel and tourism come in under? What category would that come under?
Are you a travel agency?
I don't know if it's that.
Right now, we do not do any bidding for travel.
Okay. Thank you.
Just a question maybe she might want to ask this. What you do at the county sometimes, how do you go about competing for travel business?
Thank you.
We do minimal travel at the county. There may be a few forums that some employees attend. Basically, the registration, hotels, everything usually done right through whatever the forum is. The only other thing would be maybe an airline. Would be the only one. Most people get that on their own.
But in the event that we did bid, it would be out there.
Right.
It would be on our website.
Yes.
Just a suggestion, a lot of minority small businesses provide variety of professional services. Is it possible to get, it could be a separate sheet that would list those items that you consider and that you are purchasing under the category of professional services? And the reason why I'm asking is because your list here is headed commodities, check all that supply. Yet, information technology services is listed under here. And normally, we don't identify that as a commodity. It's like a professional service. The gentleman over here and the lady were asking about that. Things like consulting, training, for instance. I'm sure the county uses outside vendors sometimes for training services of various kinds, as well as event planning, for instance. You know, everything is not done in-house, so it'd be easier if there was like, okay, professional services is architect, you know, it's IT, it's consulting, it's HR training, those types of things, and just make it easier to be able for your people and for minority businesses to know that what they're doing is being considered.
Okay, I've just addressed the word commodity. That is something that's internal into our purchasing system. So we see professional services as a commodity.
Okay.
You'll see engineering listed there as a commodity. I understand the question, but they are listed there, and we do pull from those numbers. We do recognize that they are professional services, but for our internal purposes and to list them into the system, they are considered a commodity.
Okay. But this, I'm just asking if you consider a separate page that would make it a little easier. You've heard a lot of questions about
You
that.
mean like the listing that we have for the annual bids, you would like to see a professional service listing of something
Yes.
to go out for?
That would be good.
Okay. We can absolutely do that. The only thing is, a lot of the professional services we don't know are coming down the road. And it ties a lot into some of the construction that you'll hear about in a few minutes, where they engineer and design like a sewer line. Well, we don't know those right up front most of the time. So they come in and are published as our office gets them. But there are a few out there that we do annually bid. For one example, the gentleman brought up about insurance brokerage. We're going to be looking into that again this year. So that is considered a professional service.
And if you could give us then a sample of what was purchased last year in 2012 under that category.
Absolutely.
I think that would be a really good piece of information. Thank you. Sarah.
Any other?
Before we move on, let's allow the presenters to go through the material, because we got a couple of other folks going to be making presentations. And if you can hold your questions to after the presentation, we have a short period of time this morning to do business. Your questions are important, but you need to hear from the managers and people who you need to engage, let them get the information out, and then ask your questions or see them after the presentation. Go ahead. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Michelle Harris, who is from the Office of Supplier Diversity, and she will be going over the importance of getting certified for her office.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Can you all hear me in the back? If you can't, just say so, and I can turn it up a little bit. The State of Delaware's Office of Supplier Diversity was essentially established to increase diverse suppliers with the state agencies. My office is there to assist minority, women, and veteran-owned businesses in understanding the State of Delaware's procurement process and navigating through the State of Delaware's business intelligence in preparation for competing to do work with the State of Delaware. In addition to that type of assistance that my office does, we also maintain the state certification directory. Currently, there's about 2,300 certified minority, women, and veteran-owned businesses in the State of Delaware. The benefits of being certified with the Office of Supplier Diversity, there are several of them. One is visibility. It gives you visibility, one, to all the state agencies who use that directory in order to identify minority, women, and veteran-owned businesses to do business with them around procurement. It's also county uses it in their purchasing efforts. City of Wilmington uses it. Kent County uses it. Delaware, Delaware uses it. And large businesses use it as well in order to do subcontracting work with minority, women, and veteran-owned businesses. So it's used a lot. And so it is to your benefit to maybe consider, if you're not certified with our office, to consider becoming certified. In your folder, there is an application for our office to be certified with us. The first few pages of that application are the instructions. And it's just, if you're looking in there, it just says Office of Supplier Diversity. The first few pages cover the eligibility, and the primary eligibility is the business must be 51% owned and operated by a minority, woman, or a veteran, and it must be a for-profit business, so you cannot be a nonprofit, unfortunately. And you must be able to provide certain documentation to verify that that business is 51% owned and operated. Also in those instructions is a chart. And the chart is there to assist you in determining the type of information you need to send in with that application. For example, if your business is set up as a corporation, you have stock, we need to see who owns the shares in order to verify who's that 51% owner. So the chart goes by the type of business entity that you are and what you'll need to supply. Now, going a little bit beyond that, you don't have to be in business a certain amount of time in order to certify with the State of Delaware's Office of Supplier Diversity. For example, let's say you started your business in November of 2012. Well, one of the requests in there is to see your most current 2 years of federal income tax returns. Well, because you don't have a filing requirement, because you are a newly established business, you're not going to be able to supply that particular document request. However, you can still certify with the office. You don't have to be in business any specific amount of time. So that's one item to keep in mind if you're a newly established business. In addition to that visibility that you're going to get, you can also be registered to receive notification of upcoming bids. We also have a bids directory. It's on the State of Delaware's procurement portal. And this is one very important website you want to make sure you learn how to maneuver around. It's My Marketplace, all one word, .delaware, spelled out long, .gov, G-O-V as in Victor. That is the State of Delaware's procurement portal. All of the procurement that is contractual goes to that procurement portal. When you go to that home page on the bottom, there's a tab called Bids, B-I-D-S. Under that Bids, you can see open solicitations, you can see awarded solicitations, and you can also register to receive notification about upcoming bids that you may be interested in that meet the type of business that your business has to offer. One other thing I want to talk about on that directory is under contracts. If you're not sure what the State of Delaware is purchasing, if you're not sure if that State of Delaware procures the type of products that your business does, under contracts you can get a historical look at all the contracts the State of Delaware has done over a look-back period. So it's like a couple years. So if you take a moment and kind of peruse the contracts, you can get a general idea of what the State of Delaware is purchasing under formal contracts or RFPs. Additionally, you can click on any one of those contracts and you can look at the contract details. The contract details are going to tell you who won the award. It's going to also identify how many minority, women, or veteran-owned businesses won or were a part of that award on that contract. It's going to tell you how many Delaware businesses were there. It's also going to give you usage reports. The usage reports are important to you as a potential vendor because it's going to give you price point for how much the State of Delaware paid for that particular product. And that is going to be part of your marketing and preparation for potentially bidding when that particular RFP comes up again, because you're going to know what they paid for it before, so you're going to try and make your price point as competitive as you can, because that's going to be part of the evaluation of that RFP later on. Also on mymarketplace.delaware.gov, under that bids tab, is a tab called Small Purchase Procedures. That's what I call the low-hanging fruit. Those are the expenditures that the State of Delaware does that's not under a formal contract. That's your open market bid. That's just a simple rewritten quote bid. There are 3 types of procurement methods that the State of Delaware does: material and non-professional, public works, and professional services. And each one of those categories has its own defining threshold amount for determining if it's open market, if it's rewritten quote, or if it has to go through a formal RFP. So you might want to take a moment and really get familiar with that small purchase procedures, because that may be your way to get in the door to do business with the State of Delaware, even if you cannot compete on an RFP or you're not ready to compete on an RFP. In conjunction with the small purchase procedures, on the mymarketplace.delaware.gov, under vendor resources, there's a presentation there called Selling to the State. It walks you through all of how we categorize what's material, what's non-professional, what's public works, what's professional. It's going to give you some background around that. There's also strategies for success. That's going to give you some ideas about potentially marketing yourself and being able to give your business exposure to the state of Delaware. Also under the vendor resources, procurement unit contact list. That is a link that will give you an Excel spreadsheet for the decision makers and all of the state agencies around procurement. You want to download that on your computer. And I say that again, you want to download that on your computer. You want to be able to directly reach out to those procurement individuals at the state agencies. In addition to the state agencies' procurement unit contacts, you're going to get all the school district procurement unit contacts. You're going to get all of your municipal procurement unit contacts. So that is a very strong resource for you. You're going to have phone numbers and email addresses. So for those of you that are savvy with your email marketing, that's going to be your primary way to do an email marketing to the people that write the checks and those particular agencies that you believe your products will serve. And that's going to be in conjunction with your small purchase procedures, because these are expenditures that do not come through an RFP. In addition to those particular things being under that vendor resources tab, there's another link called an awarded vendor tab. Maybe you identify a large vendor that just got awarded a contract, and you believe that your services can work in conjunction with that large vendor that just got that big award. This is going to be your opportunity, it's not just about your competition, but to identify a supply chain partner for yourself. So you can reach out to that big vendor that just got this big public work thing, and you can say, hey, look, I noticed you just got awarded on this particular contract. Here is what I do, and I believe me and you can work together, and I can do that for you cheaper than you can do it for yourself. So that's going to give you an opportunity to do business, not directly to the state, but it's still going to put some money in your pocket as a vendor. It's going to give you an exposure level to the state of Delaware and how the state of Delaware works, so that when you're ready as the vendor to reach out on that formal RFP, you already have a certain level of exposure on how the state operates, because you've been in this particular venture as a subcontractor under this large vendor. On the mymarketplace.delaware.gov, there's a Results Delaware tab. On the Results Delaware tab, it's going to tell you funding for work or funding for opportunities at the state of Delaware, FY12 funding, FY13 funding. And we update those on a regular basis, so you get to see, well, you know, I've identified that I can do work with the Department of Health and Social Services. You get to go to Results Delaware and look to see if the Department of Health and Social Services does have funding available on their FY12 and FY13 budgets. Again, that's business intelligence for you to know, oh, there's still opportunities out there for me to do business with the state of Delaware. Any questions for me? That's pretty much a quick summary of what we do. Yes, sir, in the back.
I just want your number.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. I did not have a presentation to put into the folder. The number that's on that application for certification for Office of Supplier Diversity, there's a phone number right on the front, 302-857-4554. That is my number.
Okay.
Okay.
And Michelle, what is your last name?
Harris, Harris. Yes, ma'am.
Michelle, I know for probably two years at least, the state has been trying to get to the point where they can break out the actual business going to the demographics under your category of minority. Because minority includes, like you said, you know, white women, Black, Asians, everyone. Mm-hmm. And the last time I talked to Ken Anderson, they were getting close to that. Have they done it yet? Can we go on?
What I have, if you go to my website, on the bottom of that application there, my website is there. It's gss.omb.delaware.gov/OSD.
Okay.
Under newsroom, on the left-hand side under newsroom, all of my fiscal year reports are there. The
Okay.
fiscal year reports, what I track in my office, I do track spending among all the state agencies in relation to OSD vendors. OSD vendors are minority, women, and veteran-owned businesses. The most recent one that is there is for entire year FY12. We haven't posted first and second quarter FY13. It doesn't break down, I don't believe it's going to break it down the way you're asking me the question to say, this amount of money was spent with African Americans, this amount of money was spent with Asian Pacific. It doesn't get that entailed. We're still working on that to try and break it down to that, you know, to the smallest level that we can break it down to. But it does give you some overall idea of what the state is spending with just overall OSD vendors that meet the qualification of being OSD vendors.
Okay, and a follow-on question. About a year ago, the state moved its threshold for construction projects to $100,000. And people need to know that, because that's very important. It opens up, you know, you can cast the net wider now.
Absolutely. On that, I'm sorry,
has the other services, like professional services and things like that, increased from the 50,000?
No, ma'am.
50,000.
It's still professional services under 50,000 is open market, and then over 50,000 goes straight to RFP. Okay, and the thresholds that she was speaking about, again, they're on the mymarketplace.delaware.gov under the bids tab, small purchase procedures. That's going to give you those threshold amounts. Very important to kind of jot that down somewhere where you can get to it quickly, because again, that's the low-hanging fruit. That's going to be your easiest way to get in to do business with the state of Delaware, because when you compete for an RFP, that's competition, and so you may not get it on the first round. Another thing in closing, I'll say, if you do believe you're ready to compete for an RFP, one thing that being certified in my directory will give you is an opportunity to get an invitation to the vendor days that the State of Delaware Procurement Unit does. A vendor day is an outreach where you can be invited as a vendor to come to our offices, get a quick overview, and then have the opportunity to speak directly with the purchasing officers in the State of Delaware's procurement department in their central contracts. So when you're certified, they automatically pull an extract of my directory and they send that invite out to anyone that wants to come. So that's another benefit of being certified in that directory. And if you've ever done an RFP and you don't win, please request a debrief so that you can get the kind of feedback you need to know, okay, why didn't I get it? And take that, don't take it personal, but take that as a way to go back to your drawing board and say, you know what, you're right. I'm looking at it, I'm taking in what you have explained to me, and next time, I'll be ready. I saw a hand up.
Yes, I think what I've been in business since 1976, and what I have seen happen with this minority and women situation that's lacking is that there's no policing. I have been burned more than once with contracts that were put out by the state that had a category 2 that was clearly defined. And I thought because the state had put out the category 2, but then it was not given to me by the person that was signed on the contract with the state. So there needs to be more policing of the state contracts and the subs to protect small business. And I think what would be helpful is if departments from the state could provide the documentation, you know, that would protect. So in other words, if we had access, because, you know, if you go to a lawyer and have papers drawn up and you don't know that they're right, and we're not in the law business, and, you know, if we're small, sometimes we do have a lawyer if we need one, hopefully we don't, but that would be helpful. I mean, if there could be some kind of documentation that is available for small business that will protect them, so when we are approached by a larger company to sub, it's like, okay, this is what we need to complete, this, you know, and then enforcing it.
Yeah, I do understand what you're saying, because when you enter into that agreement, State of Delaware kind of looks at it that you're not doing business directly with State of Delaware.
Yes.
You're doing business directly with that prime.
Yes.
But that prime is doing business with the State of Delaware. And so I understand what you're saying, and that there needs to be some type of oversight or someone that that sub could potentially go to if there's an issue between the sub and the prime. I do understand that, yes ma'am. And we are working to try and strengthen that subcontractor type of relationship, because there are issues there, we know that. Yes, ma'am. But thank you for your comment.
Michelle, I know there are no goals for the state.
Yes, ma'am.
And there's some so-called legal reason why. But are there any plans to at least talk to more of the large primes to encourage them to include minorities? You know, encourage them in a way where, you know, the state would really like you to do this or something like that. And then on the large federal contracts where there are requirements, is that being, you know, is the compliance met or what?
I can speak to the strengthening for the state contracts. Right, you're correct. The state doesn't have any preference, no percentage totals, no number requirement, none of that. But what I can tell you is, one, supplier diversity is very important to Governor Markell. And we do have the Supplier Diversity Council, and we meet on a regular basis, and he does get the information and the feedback that we do share with him around information we receive from you all, the vendor community. In my department, and my office is situated in Government Support Services, which is the central contracts. Those are all the contracts that more than one agency uses. We are in the process now strengthening our language in the RFPs around minority, women, and veteran-owned businesses, around OSD vendors. So it is very important to us to encourage as strongly as we can our prime vendors who do get the big contracts to do business that reflects the business community. The business community is a diverse community. Therefore, the subs that they do business with should be diverse subs. And so we do our best to try and encourage that to happen. I will tell you, I do get solicitations from big vendors. They send me letters and say, you know, we just got on a contract for whomever, and we're looking to do business with certified vendors. When I get that, I send that out so that, you know, those that are certified in my directory, you get to know, hey, this particular construction company is looking to do business with certified vendors with the State of Delaware as a subcontractor, because they're the prime one. But we do understand that that's still a major issue, and we can't really go out and say you have to, because that's just the way the executive orders 14 and 29 were set up. But we do our best to encourage them to do so.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions for me? Well, I want to thank you for inviting me, and thank you for your time, and I'll be around for a little while if you want to speak to me one-on-one. Thank you.
Okay, great. Andrea touched on, because this is always interesting, we're kind of like the hidden government. People don't really know what county government does. So Andrea kind of gave a touch. But if I said special services, how many people think they could explain to me right now what we do in special services from her presentation? Okay, there must be an insider. Okay, we have a diverse operation. We've got the largest budget, I believe, in county government. We've got about 400 people. Public safety is the largest. And we are kind of a catch-all. One of our biggest budget items is sewers. We do everything with sewers. We build them, we maintain them, we repair them. That's where we get into the construction part, which is what I'll talk about later on. But we do a lot of other things. We're responsible for buildings. We're responsible for parks. We're responsible for fleet. For a lot of those things, we rely upon purchasing in Andrea's shop to put out the RFPs for us and to get the services that we need. Now, some of the things, very honestly, some things we do internally, some things we do externally. We have a large parks department, but what we found out is there's some economy of scale in having some of our smaller parts done by outside contractors. We can do the large ones. We got the big equipment, we can do the large ones. Janitorial services, which is another one. We do some in-house, we contract out for some of that. So that kind of gives you a sense of our department. We are very diverse. What is unique about us is we have the ability, and we spend big bucks, the county executive knows as he signs the big bucks contracts, on sewers. We also do the buildings. We build the buildings. We engineer the buildings. We do parks, and in that we go from soup to nuts. We'll design parks and we build the parks. And we don't necessarily, with our personnel, build all the parks or build all the buildings. So we have to contract out. When it comes to construction, this is where we have our own separate kind of operation. Jack Willis here, who's one of our contracting officers. He's actually our only contracting officer. In the back, I have Tracy Searles. She's senior manager in charge of engineering and sewer operation. So, big bucks contracts. We're talking millions of dollar contracts. But as was mentioned earlier, we have the ability, and this is where I think this forum today is really important, because when we have a $50,000 and under contract, we again go to that informal bidding process. Again, low bid, but we have the ability to go to smaller contractors to be able to put out information as to what we need. We could have, and we have a construction support operation. Let me give that as an example. Let me ask this question, really drill down. I was really happy. I asked the Indian guy, I said, I wonder what services are available in this group today. But how many people here are associated with some sort of construction operation? Okay, great. Super. We need to talk after this. What I encourage everybody to do that's here today that's involved in this is to talk to us about your services so that we can get you on our list so that when we have a project, it's under $50,000, if you've never done business with the county, we can at least put you into that bid process so that we can see, so that you can see the process. And so that we may have the opportunity to select you for these smaller jobs. And the smaller jobs could be, we do a lot in maintenance ponds. So we'll bid out stormwater maintenance ponds for some construction work. But there may be a smaller one that we have. It would be under $50,000, which we need to get done, and we don't have the ability to get it done because of workload. So we may make a contact and ask for prices to complete that job. It may even be replacing the sewer line. We replace a lot of sewer lines, but sometimes we get very busy and an emergency will come up and we need to get something done. It'll be an under $50,000 contract, so we can go out and make 3. We can do more than 3, but at least 3 to get a price back. So I encourage all the contractors. We're sitting up here front table, so see us after we finish the formal part of the program. In the packet on the left-hand side was a lot of information relative to construction contracts. Not to go through each of these lines. Not to go through each of them, but the county code assigns responsibility to purchase of all contract constructions to the special services department, totally separate from purchasing. The second item was all construction contracts, the estimated cost of which exceed $50,000 must be competitively bid. Again, under $50,000, you can do an informal bid. Then he goes to talk about the competitive bid process. Bidders lists are available at Special Services Department. Bidders list and bid results are published in almost all the construction journals. And when we do a construction project, we have a pre-bid process, so everybody understands exactly what we're asking for when they submit the bids. Open bids for construction contracts are listed on the county website under the Department of Special Services. Bid bonds are required on all bids. Surety bonds for 100% of contract amounts are required from the lowest bidder. We have a pre-qualification process that goes for 2 years. Come in, fill out the forms, we review the forms, make sure that everything that is needed so that when a bid comes out, we know that that individual, that company, qualifies at the end of the process. It saves everybody a lot of work. Contractor's responsibility certification. This is by county code. Prime contractors must certify 13 items relating to licensing, bonding, wage payments, labor laws, workplace safety, equal opportunity, apprenticeship participation, experience, financial resources. Subcontractors who subcontract exceed $50,000 must also provide a CRC form. But again, I think it was mentioned by Michelle earlier, you know, if you're a smaller company, it's important for you to know who the big companies are that are getting these bids, so you can make contact with them and explain to them the quality of service that you provide in that, whatever that specific construction may be. Reverend Bullock and I have had some conversations. One of the concerns that we have in special services, not so much the owners, but actually it's the workforce that's out there performing the jobs. And so we encourage minority firms, small though they may be, to be able to get up with those contractors who are getting those multi-million-dollar contracts and explain the services that you can provide to them. It would be very important. We very much appreciate that. Payment of the State of Delaware prevailing wage is required on all special services projects over $100,000. Okay? Very important to discuss. Included in the packet is the contractor's, subcontractor's responsibility certification. It's about a 13-page, 17-page document. We also included just an example of some of the contracts we anticipate putting out this year. These are all over $50,000 to talk about. There's 50,000 vendors come up sporadically, and that's why we need to know who the vendors would be interested so we can make contact and visit. Some of the larger projects, Greenhurst Interceptor Project, Frontline, these are major construction projects. These are probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. But you get down to the bottom, Turf Field Project, Police Academy shower locker room construction. That's about a $500,000 project, but may very well require some contractors. So again, for those who are here that are in the construction business, we very much appreciate it if you would contact us up front here after the formal presentation. Other than that, are there any questions where we can handle them one-on-one if you'd like? Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Just a couple things I wanted to go over. Something that Michelle had mentioned in her talk with you today is Newcastle County has an open door policy as well. If you have submitted a bid and you do not get the award, our office is open. Make a call, come in, review the bid. We'll talk to you about the scoring. You're absolutely, all scores are available. If you've submitted a bid for that good or service and you do not get an award, you have the right to see the scoring sheet. We can send it to you electronically. Again, our purchasing agents or myself will meet with you and go over the different scoring and where you may have fell short. At this time, I really would like to introduce the purchasing staff. Our Newcastle County has a central purchasing system where all the bids and all the requisitions go through our office except for construction, where the state is larger. Some of the departments do some of their own bidding, but everything comes into a centralized purchasing office for Newcastle County. And our team is here today. We are more than welcome and welcome you to come and meet with us one-on-one if you have any questions. In the back is Clifton Crawford, purchasing agent. Tony Bryson-Jones, she's the assistant purchasing agent. Nicole Racine, she's our budget analyst for our department. And to my right is Ruth Kowalski, purchasing agent. And all of us would be more than happy to meet with you one-on-one. And at this time, I really would like to offer you this opportunity to have like a kind of a networking session with each other and with us. And again, I'd like to thank the team for putting this all together and for you for inspiring us. Thank you.
Give Angie a big hand. Before you break out and network, I want to do something I think is very important. First of all, was this helpful?
Yeah.
I didn't hear you. Was this helpful? Now, we want to go table by table. Everyone, you stand. say your name and your business so we'll know who's in the room. We'll start, please, just your name and your business. I repeat, please, just your name and your business. And then when the networking time, you can go from there. We'll start right here. Please stand, speak loud, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Cecilia Tucker. My business is Bioactive Blessings Health and Wellness.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Toby Glenn. I'm with WorldPay. That's a form of credit card processing.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Katrina Banks, and I'm a certified empowerment life coach, and my business is Lifeline Coaching and Empowerment. Thank you.
Hello, Karen Randolph, owner and operator of KRC Waste Management, locally owned trash removal company.
Hello, everyone. My name is Arlene Gilstrap, known as G. My company is King by Design. It's a coordinator.
My name is Raymond Sanders. I deal with networking, security, IT security, boardroom.
Hello, everybody. My name is Beverly Ridvowski. The name of my business is Applause Fashion Handbags, Hats, Jewelry, and Accessories.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Betty Mitchell. I'm a caterer and also Mary Kay and consultant.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Phaedra Oates, and I am the owner and operator of Oates Consultant. I am a tax and finance accountant.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gwendolyn Miller, and I own my own travel agency, New Tourism Corporate Travel. My company's name, Relam Travel. It's just Miller spelled backwards.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anthony G. Curie, and I am Council President for Los Legislative Aid.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sharon Mead, and my company is Decorative Design Interiors, and I do anything for the interior of a Hanover office.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jessica Gibson, and I'm with First State Community Loan Fund, and we are a small business lending CDFI in the state of Delaware and Pennsylvania.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Don Ridgway, Ridgway Accounting Firm, and consulting as well.
Reverend John Bailey, Canaan Baptist Church Community Servant.
Bessie Evans, the Burning Bush Enterprises, and one of the things we have is a bookstore, and we also rent space for small groups.
My name is Sarah Harrison, and I'm actually from the pharmaceutical industry, where I was the vice president for AstraZeneca. Now I am a principal in a construction company, and also I have my own business called H&S Enterprise, which is business development, business management, business consulting, with a passion to help small businesses get access to greater opportunities. Thank you.
Good morning. Tanae Shorts, the Efficiency Project. I do workflow efficiency for increased productivity and also a conference meeting and events manager.
Good morning. Oliver Notch Jr. I'm with WorldPay, credit card processing.
My name is Tuesday Wright, and I'm the owner of Visa Distinction Boutique.
Troy Dennis, bar and restaurant business.
Come back. Yes.
Good morning, everyone. It's Steve Lane here representing Rock Solid Construction.
Good morning, everyone. Deanna Foster, Rock Solid Construction.
Hi, I'm Pat Barron, Barron Marketing Communications, a full-service marketing firm since 1976. We do everything from branding to websites to radio, television, pretty much anything that has to do with marketing communications to make businesses successful.
Good morning, I'm Hubert Leach. I own HAL Enterprises. We do insurance, group insurance, life and health, 401k rollover, financial planning. We do retirement planning. We got the whole gamut of financial services. Everybody has got a company. If you need group life or health, you need to call me. I'm leaving cards and flyers everywhere around. And we got a whole gamut. Look at the website. We do so much. Give us a call.
He's selling it, isn't he? That's my friend. That's my friend. This next table.
Good morning. My name is Michael Harp, representing First Choice Auto Truck Repair as well as International Construction Management. And Williams, owner proprietor of the Fourth Bureau Business.
Stand up, mother. You don't have to tell us.
Good morning. My name is Agnes Grace, and I'm here just to learn, about business for the future for my daughter and her children.
Amen.
Good morning. My name is Holly Stearns. I'm the manager of Good Indian Service Bureau.
Good to see you. Tell Jimmy hello.
My name is Derek Hill, Sterling Services, Facility Management and Construction.
Good to see you, Derek.
Good morning. My name is Michael Williams, owner of Tri-State Diversified Contractors.
Yeah, my name is Lenny Brokenbrow, Relief Solutions, LLC, Canaan Baptist Church Business Network. And I help businesses stream their own TV show through Google Plus and YouTube and show them how to get paid doing it.
I'm Wayne Portlock, and I work with boardroom presentations, UIT consulting, and various other consulting projects.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kenneth Scriven, owner of Bending Carton Service. Thank you.
My name is Kelly Grimes. I represent L&K Construction.
My name is Howard Moon, President, Transformation Enterprise, Business Consulting Services, and member of Canaan Baptist Church.
Good morning. My name is Francis Twoman. I own Camtech School of Nursing. If your business is not picking up and you want to get into nursing, I'm the man you need to see. If you have children that want to become nurses, I'm the one you need to talk to. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Kelechi Lawrence, Project Change International. We do general consulting and project management.
Good morning. My name is Thelma Liverpool. I own Impact Consulting Solutions. I came all the way from New York to be with you. And I've been in Africa for 10 years after working with DuPont. So if you want to do business in Africa, you can do the small things that will make you succeed or not. I'm here.
Welcome.
Wow. Thank you.
Now we have some folks who came in.
Whoa, one more.
One more, sorry.
My name is Keith Webb. Good morning, everyone. I am an independent insurance agent as well as an energy consultant.
Let me see, brother Keith. Folks who came in late, please just tell us your name and...
Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? My name is Troy Farmer. I am the owner of Empowerment That Values All, or EDA Consulting, Coaching, and Counseling Services. Our goal is to help you to invest in your employees with coaching, mediation, negotiating, as well as training and development. All right, so we want to help you to impact your productivity to affect your bottom line.
Hi, my name is David Farmer. Glad to be here today. I'm representing Farmer Spain.
Participated in this first, which will be an annual gathering. We hope to expand and build upon this so that we can do business. Hope this is helpful, beneficial to you. Please take advantage now of the networking opportunity. See the folks here at the table, around the room, so we can engage in the process moving forward. Tom, would you like to say anything in closing?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Good. Well, Brother Farmer, you made me hungry with the fish deal. But see one another, let's talk, and thank you. We have the room till long as you want. We have the room till long as we want. Thank you.